Wow.
Story well known right
Okay,
now.
are these people like not expecting to get such good service? Because I picked this person, they've only been waiting less than a minute. Maybe they expected to wait longer.
We have their wrists taped.
Okay, all right, we're gonna put you on hold, and we'll try back in about 60 seconds. All righty. Okay,
Just
Brother Mike, you were saying?
Just a brief education for some people. The object is you pick up the phone and you talk into the phone. It may be missing that key ingredient.
Right,
Talking
true.
into the phone. It's a magnifying device.
I think in this society we're so used to waiting on the phone with all of this automated stuff that we really just don't expect to be responded to immediately. That's like
So the couple of things that came to mind is, let's not be confused with corporal punishment and abuse. You have to make a definitive line between the two.
Yeah.
There are times when it calls for.
You know, Michael, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think I'm one of those people where I don't think that there should be a distinction. I think violence at all, hitting, to me, it just feels really pathetic because I've been there. And I kind of felt like Leslie's friend, where I realized I was reacting out of fear, I was reacting out of anger, and I did not really know what else to do, and I felt weak afterwards. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and let you go on.
Okay, so not everyone has those same feelings as far as how they go about dealing with it.
True.
Especially if it's a well thought out punishment. If you have other options, if that's not your only option, which a lot of times, again, we got to just harken back to when we were kids. It wasn't always that was the first thing that happened to you. You got your warning signs, and of course, as kids do, our job is the kids' job is to test their parents. I don't think you're going to do what you say you're going to do. I don't think what's going to happen is what you say is going to happen. You don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to test the limits. That's what kids do. They test the limits. And as far as the teaching aspect of it, there is some teaching aspect in it. The teaching aspect is that it teaches cause and effect when it's used properly. So that's why I say there should be a distinction between what abuse is and what corporal punishment is. If it's, again, abuse is if a person is just striking a kid just to be striking a kid, has no provocation for it, or they're just doing it because there is no other way that they
striking a kid. Woo.
No, and like.
So what I'm trying to get at is very simple. You know you have times and instances where if you spank your child, it's not violence. It's kind of like what Malcolm X said. If someone comes to attack me and I defend myself, me defending myself is not a violent act. That's me preserving myself.
I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can take that.
Hold on, let me finish my statement, and then maybe you will.
Yes.
If I use a measure that's going to prevent my child from walking down a certain path, and it doesn't mean, again, it doesn't always mean that, again, we have to be clear. We can't just make it seem as if every time a child gets hit, then that's something violent. Or every time a child gets hit, that there's something wrong with that. That every time a child gets hit, it's this dramatic thing. Sometimes it's not as hard as we think it is. Sometimes it's just the fact that your parents did that to you, that they spanked you. You're more hurt that they would actually spank you than it actually the spanking itself. So it's not just a matter of, okay, you beat your kid, it's a violent act, and that's the end of the day. Some children who the parents beat them once or twice, and that's it. They learn their lesson. Some children learn quick. Learn their lesson, and they moved on, and they don't have to experience again. Some children.
Yeah, but what about those kids who are like? What about those kids who just feel completely, angry at the fact that their parent or anyone is putting their hands on them and fights back like forever? I mean, that exists. It is because in the end, it is a power struggle.
And
right, and it does exist. It does exist, but it's always exceptions to the rule, and then that's when you have to be a wise parent and know how to deal with your child.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if you're unwise,
so
when you're unwise, that's when you're hitting, because if you're being wise,
that's not
you're
what
thinking
I said.
about something else.
Wrong again. Very simple. You have to be a wise parent and know how to deal with your child. Know what the limits are. You have to know when it's good to spare the rod and when it's good not to. You have to understand that, and understand, like Tawana said, you have to understand your child, and your child has to understand too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're laying down the rules and if you say to your child, if you do this, and this is the education process of it. It's not I'm just going to randomly do something.
But
I
feel like it's getting fantasized, though. I feel like in this conversation it's getting fantasized a little bit, because the reality of the situation, just off of observation, is that it's not a hit. It's repeatedly hitting the child with a hand, bill, extension cord. See, when we talk about lines, I kind of agree with Donnell. If the lines are there, they're extremely fine. It's hard for me to define anything hitting someone repeatedly as anything other than abuse, especially when you bring other objects, and it's for the benefit of the parent. The first thing that we learn is not to let someone disrespect you, and we learn that from our parents, because we're not to disrespect our parents. And so they take what we do when we're being disobedient, or let's just use the word disobedient. They take that as a sign of disrespect, and you're not going to disrespect me. Now you factor in what they're going through on their job, the 2-3 jobs they're working, and now you have someone striking a child repeatedly with an object out of frustration and anger. That's what's happening over and over and over again. And to make the point, I'll just pose this question. How many parents actually calm down? Right? Calm down. Wait till they're completely sober from emotions, and then go back and hit their child.
But see, I think it's your fault, but I think there are parents who do that.
I can give you several examples of it. Go ahead, Tawana, but I can give you several examples.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, sister.
Okay,
I was just going to say, I think that you guys are focusing on the fact that I think you are focusing on the parents who abuse their children. I don't think that you're focusing on the parents who are disciplining their children. And I think that you're taking discipline and you're saying you're mixing them. I think you're taking discipline and you're saying, beating your child repeatedly and picking up objects. I don't support things like that. I don't support things of that nature.
Okay, so can I jump
I definitely think that there is a distinction between the two.
Can we try to get this caller again? Just a second, guys.
Yes.
Hi, you're on Inspirit Talk Radio.
Hello?
Hi, who are we speaking with?
This is Rodriguez Underwood.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I want to let everybody know that everybody has a valid point that they're making, but I want to say that discipline is a very big difference between discipline and punishment. First of all, discipline is as far as raising your child, a lot of us grew up where, as far as our parents, they punished us, they whooped us with different kind of objects. But I'm a 26-year-old stepfather. I don't have any kids of my own, but I have nieces and nephews of early age.
Okay.
And I understand that discipline, when you discipline your kids, that goes a long way. As far as teaching your kids the rights and wrongs.
I'm sorry, but I just
go ahead.
How can you discipline? How can you teach discipline by exhibiting lack of discipline yourself by hitting, by being violent?
I feel like hitting a child, that is the easy way out. Hitting a child, that's like saying, okay, well, I don't want to take the time out to teach my kids what they did wrong.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I feel like when you hit your child, that's that's not showing love. You know what I'm saying?
Why are we not talking about slavery and how much we were hit? Historically, and how.
I feel like that came from that came from because our parents. I mean, it's always from down the line. I mean, at somewhere it has to stop. You know what I'm saying? It's about